Gator, besides being the most underwhelming outcome of such a ridiculously awesome concept ever, is also housed in a piss-easy stage. It's a damn good thing too, since we're also fighting the only boss in the game whose strategy is based on the alignment of the planets and whether you've been particularly God-fearing this week. Before that though, there's filler. Really, I could have hoped for more interesting stage design besides ladders and slow-moving platforms, given that we're riding around in a giant fucking army tank, but not everything can be perfect. Oh, and I suppose because we're passing under it, making the arm upgrade stop X in his tracks every time he fires something is both silly and emasculating, and I have no real idea why they carried that notion on to X3. Now then, on actually relevant matters, here's more of my double standards because frankly, we haven't seen them yet in X2 and it was becoming a little worrisome. I need to use the ride armor to destroy that blue fridge that was apparently pretty goddamn important, but I refuse to keep it down underneath the ship for reasons I've honestly forgotten by this point. Besides the downright erotic leap of faith, the other thing worth mentioning about my very foolish decision is that ride armor enemies in X2 hold a super shocking trait of being exactly like ride armor enemies in X1. Translated into non-obscure comments, that means more thought went into those 12 seconds of asking their AI to politely not run X over than was put into the rest of the fucking stage put together. But of course, since anything more might have fooled you into getting excited, they helpfully put in more frantic elevator action you could have skipped through had I bothered warning you before it was already over. Remember, I hurt you because I love you. Oh, and this friendly fellow was called Violin, either a precursor to Capcom's deteriorating ability to spell or an unclever play on words. He is an intricately programmed... Okay, so he's a rampaging man-child, and the appropriate way to deal with his battle is to be in cahoots with a religious power of some sort. Evidently, I've got that base covered, since he does nothing but fart about and make amusing expressions for this very lucky fight. Usually it has more of a good Christ, please don't let the thing near me quality to it. Violin has two behaviors to his ball and chain that we'll call patterns and then laugh ourselves sick from happiness. Either he'll throw his ball out in a far mid-close configuration like he does this entire battle, or he'll, have it do whatever the fuck it wants to do. Now as far as I can tell, there's no propensity to this thing's movement at all, except that it has a vague urge to kill X and tails him lazily. Otherwise it manages to accomplish killing him anyway by switching angles on every bounce with a wanton disregard for physics. The battle only ever goes one of two ways. Either he'll do what he did for this one and waste the entire thing ignoring his disgustingly overpowered weapon to shoot unthreatening projectiles and play leapfrog, or he'll realize he has a big fucking wrecking ball that could demolish buildings on his back and destroy you with it like any sensible villain would. Also, I don't know what the fuck that giant monster in the background just was, but fighting him probably would have been more interesting than making a completely normal stage and then having it bounce around every now and then. Gator himself mimics the level flawlessly. Great concept, boring execution. He looks pretty badass though, so I guess there's that advantage over his tank's visual tactic of using ride armors for wall insulation. Gator will never, ever pull anything untelegraphed. There are no risks to be had in this battle. Really his most threatening aspect is the amazing ability to be a giant dick the whole time by diving underwater. I've had some fights that consisted entirely of standing in one spot and firing off occasionally. There is one slight blip on the life support when he chews up the walls later in the fight, because without dashing, jumping into the bite marks is very easy when you're also trying to dodge the wheels he shoots up. And actually, I'm totally making that up and it only appears to be a close call. What the fuck do you want me to say about this guy? I do know you can stop him from sinking at all by using his weakness, but I was both unable and too lazy to find a way to do it with the X-Buster. The next stage is Magna Centipedes, which is about 10 times more fun and difficult than this one. We won't be seeing the only noteworthy aspect of this segment until we refight him in the first X-Hunter stage, where he's solved his deep philosophical choice and abuses the ball and chain while on crack. Look forward to it if you're so inclined.